and welcome to Quinwell Pod Creations demonstration tutorial video. Today I'm going to demonstrate on how I do what I call an off-loom weave using the square stitch. The flat square stitch that is normally done is kind of like not what I want to use, so I kind of created my own off-loom weave stitch using a variation of the square stitch. So basically, when you Google or Pinterest the square stitch, this is what the diagram looks like that you will get. So basically, the square stitch has a base row, and they add a bead onto the string, and then they would go down through and back through the base row bead, and then through that bead, and then they continue to add on one bead at a time, but they're only going through the one bead, base row bead, and then back up through the bead they added. I don't think that makes the beads set very well, or is it very firm and sturdy. So I kind of did a variation on my off-loom weave square stitch is done with the base row. And I start with 2 beads, put 2 beads on the row, and I go down through and back through 2 rows on the base row, and then through the 2 beads I added. After that first 2 beads, I put on 1 bead. But when I go down and go back through 2 beads, up and through 2 beads. This really pulls the beads together, makes them closer, tighter, and it just gives a better look to it. I made these bracelets that gives it real tight look, and you don't see the strings of loom work, and you don't have the hassle of doing the tie off and attaching it to there. It's just done straight on to the bracelet. So so basically I'm going to show you how I do my off-loom weave square stitch. So let's just get that. I'm going to just do it on the pellin. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, so when I do barrettes, I do it on here. When I do the bracelets, I did right onto the bracelet. And I do have a video of how I did these bracelets, just so you know, using the square stitch. So basically, we're going to get a base row started that we can use. I like using the off-loom weave stitch because actually I like to do my beadwork in the evening on the couch. And then I don't have the loom to have to deal with or worry about. So, excuse me, I am so sorry. So here is our base row. I have 8 beads on here. The bracelet uses 9, so you're basically getting the same idea. I'm just using contrasting beads, so just so you can see it. I'm doing a design and worrying about that. So, and put your needle, bring your needle up where the next row will be. And you're going to add the 2 beads. And you're going to go back through. And back through the 2 beads that you put on. This will snuggle them right up next to the row prior. And then we're going to go back to 2 on the base row. Maybe. And back to 2. I really do think it gets the beads more sturdy. Excuse me, and snug together. And you're just going to continue on snugging that new row up to the base row all the way to the end. And once you get to the end of the row, you want to make sure that you attach each row down separately, being sure that they're firm. Snugged up and tight. So there is your second row. And each row, like I said, has to be attached to whatever you're beading on separately. Next row just comes right back up. Into 2 beads. Snug right up next to the next row. And 1 bead. You're going back up through 2. And down through 2. To create that square stitch. So basically that is my version of the square stitch in what I call an off-loom weave. But it gives you the look of a loom, but I think it's much cleaner, much nicer, and much tighter, and it gives me better control over the beadwork itself and the design. So that is the off-loom weave square stitch. I will have this on the files in my Facebook page, Quinoa Creations. And thank you. I appreciate you coming and watching today. And I will be doing more videos. I will have a video on how I did the bracelets with the off-loom weave stitch. And Thank you for watching. Come back. Thank you.